Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.
Brian Engelman here at the 2018 Politicon in Los Angeles, California. I'm joined with Adam Carolla. Adam has been on, I don't know, Adam, what do we list with you? The Man Show and your own podcast and kind of inventing podcasts and the new project with Dennis Prager. What do we say about you and your career, a retrospective? Where do we start?
Oh, I don't know. I like to do whatever's next. So, if someone wants me to write a book, I'll write a book. And if someone wants me to do a movie about no safe spaces, I'll do that. I'll do a racing documentary. I'll do a podcast. Whatever's next.
Well, I want to definitely get into no safe spaces in a second. I know I only have you for a couple of moments, but I want to ask about when I moved out to Los Angeles in 2005, 2006. You were on the radio in Los Angeles market. I forget which stage, 97.1 or whatever it was.
Yep.
And you had a character. It was Duke Lacrosse. You had a whole skit about your name was Duke Lacrosse, and you had this whole thing.
Colonel Duke Lacrosse.
Colonel Duke Lacrosse. It's been a decade and a half, so I'm trying to remember it. But
yeah.
I remember vividly Duke Lacrosse. And as we've seen the Kavanaugh stuff, and it's, you point a finger and yell, you're evil, you go for it. What is your thought on what we've seen with Kavanaugh, with the Supreme Court, with the political system that we've had, and what you've seen working with Dennis Prager over the past couple of years now? What is happening with our political diatribe these days?
Well, I think we have to judge things, judge judges, judge members of Duke Lacrosse, and judge whomever, both directions, based on the information and based on the evidence, and not based on whose team you're on. So,
right.
Like, if you see a guy, let's just say you're in the NFL, and some all-star running back assaults his girlfriend or robs a liquor store or whatever it is.
We can say Ray Rice on the Ravens. That's fine.
Ray Rice on the Ravens. Okay,
start.
he punches his girlfriend out in a elevator.
Yeah.
You must try to say whether you shouldn't have different thoughts on it, whether you're a Steelers fan or a Ravens fan.
Or a Browns fan.
Or a Browns fan. You should just have the same thoughts,
right.
Which is this guy punched this person, that's wrong,
right.
And he should be punished. Or she should be punished, not in that particular case. But I just mean in the world. And so what we're doing a little too much of now is we have Pittsburgh fans going, oh, throw that guy in a hole and throw away the key and lock him up. And then you have like Baltimore fans going, whoa, well, it was not a big deal. He didn't really mean it. And now
it was an accident.
So now we're getting
tribal,
further and further away. We're getting tribal, and we're getting further away from the truth. The question is it should always just be this sort of two-way street. How would you see it if you were a Steelers fan, and how would you see it as a Baltimore fan? It should be the same way you see it.
Right.
Straight on through. And so obviously the Kavanaugh thing is a situation where if you're a Democrat, you see it one way. It's not that you see it one way, you would like an outcome. And if you're a Republican, you would like an outcome. Mm-hmm. And it's about the outcome less than what the actual event was. I mean, I work with a guy, he's smart. He was watching the news coverage, probably MSNBC and CNN, and like at a certain point he said to me, I don't get it. There's so much stuff on this guy. Why don't they just get rid of him and get a guy that doesn't have all the baggage?
Right.
And I'm like, so much stuff. They got his yearbook from high school, and then also if they got another guy, you don't think they
do the same exact thing from 40 years ago with no conviction? Yeah, it's a strange world that we're living in. It really is. And what you did with Dennis Prager with No Safe Spaces. Talk about the project real quick, because I think it's important. When I was going through college, 97 through 2001, I felt it then, and it's amplified. It's exponentially worse today. What was the motivation behind the No Safe Spaces project with Prager? Because colleges have turned into a weird situation. What was the motivation there?
The producers came up to me and they said, like, do you want to do a project with Dennis Prager? And I really love spending time with Dennis Prager, and he's really one of the most he's one of the most thought-provoking guys, and he has some of the most wisdom and the most everything. but he's also just a great guy to go on a long car ride with, or go out to dinner with, or just
pick their brain for a couple hours. It's awesome conversation.
Just to physically spend time with the person. So I was like, oh, I get a chance to work with Dennis Prager, and I get a chance to sort of speak my mind about what's going on college campuses, and speak my mind about people speaking their mind, and go before Congress, and blah, blah, blah. So it was sort of a no-brainer.
All right, last question, because I know you got to run down to a panel. Being a boxer, being somebody who's taught boxing and put a boxing movie together and all that stuff, what is your thought on the MMA and boxing, and what you're seeing with the McGregors and the kind of hybrid and the combination between boxing, MMA? What are your thoughts on what you're seeing now? Is this a good thing for competition? Is it a bad thing for boxing? Good for MMA? Where do you land on that? Because the worlds are combining.
Right.
It's like Seinfeld. My worlds are colliding, Jerry.
Well, I think it's more Floyd Mayweather wanting to get another 9-figure payday or 10-figure or whatever the hell he's getting. Right? Well, it's the greatest thing ever, because he finishes out his career fighting super skilled guys from his sport,
right,
and getting paid, I don't know, $50 million or $100 million a pop. Then he turns 40. He's got an O on the right side of his record, 50-0 or 49-0 or whatever. Then who would get that he would have these other two mega paydays for what is considered light lifting for a guy who's been on his feet just throwing hands for the last 30 years? I mean, Conor McGregor's a tough customer. Habib Nurmagomedov is a tough customer from a different sport.
Right.
So it's basically like just saying, you're Nolan Ryan. You've been pitching and being paid millions of dollars for 20 years, and now you just have to strike out Michael Jordan. And it's like, well, he's a great athlete. Yeah, but he plays another sport. Well, but he can hold a bat. I get it. Now I'm going to be 40, and I'll get Floyd Money Mayweather is going to get 2 mega paydays for 2 fairly light lifting days. And so Floyd should hope that the next MMA guy comes up, because he can do that into his 40s, no problem.
Just being the guy taking on the challenger as they're working their way up.
Yeah, he's not going to fight the top guys in the boxing division. He's not going to fight who just fought last weekend, Mac. I'm trying to think.
It's all right. They blur together.
The
guy whose balls are hot. What was that phrase?
Yeah,
Jones. Was it Jones?
No, it wasn't. No, this
wasn't Stipe.
Boxing match. Yeah, I'll think of the boxing match guy off the air. But the guy just fought last weekend, like HBO or whatever. He doesn't want to fight Terrence Crawford. Okay. Floyd Mayweather doesn't want to fight Terrence Crawford because Terrence Crawford's at the top of his boxing game, but he'll fight an MMA guy and get paid 10 times as much. There it is.
All right. So No Safe Spaces, tell them about the project, where they can find it.
Just go to AdamCarolla.com. Go to AdamCarolla.com, and we'll put information on there for you. No Safe Spaces as well. It's coming out early 2019.
Perfect. Very excited to check it out. Adam Carolla, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.
Terrence Bud Crawford. That's what. All right. We're going to
Terrence Bud.
He's the #1 pound for pound.